Have to wait for the drum.
6 o'clock. All right, we're going to call to order the Glades County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting for Monday, July 22nd at 6 p.m. We'll have the prayer by Commissioner South and the pledge by Commissioner Taylor. Everybody please rise.
Dear Heavenly Father, how we come before you, giving you thanks again for another beautiful day. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunities we have that you present to us. We ask you to be with us tonight as we have the county business, that the decisions we make would be pleasing in your sight and for our constituents. Father, we just praise you for the greatest country in the world. We ask you to forgive us where we fail you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody here tonight. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? All right, public input on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, please fill out a comment card at the table at the entrance to Commission chambers. Please note all comments on non-agenda items are limited to 3 minutes and or the board's discretion. We'll move right into public comments. Mr. DJ McLaughlin.
DJ McLaughlin, 1311 Crisdale Avenue in the Muse area. Chairman, Commissioners. There are issues that will be coming in front of y'all in the next few weeks, particularly into the month of August. The mine ordinance is done with, my understanding, it's done through planning and zoning, and it'll be coming in front of this board for 2 public hearings early and late in August. As well, the applications that have been filed by Bayshore Farms for their comp plan amendment and for their rezoning will come before you sometime in the next 30, 60, 90 days. That is uncertain. But for sure, the 2 public hearings regarding the mine ordinance will be in front of you in the month of August. And for that reason, I'm asking that you, the four board members, and Ms. Fisher, I know Ms. Prashant is not here, but I don't think it'd be unreasonable to ask the 7 members of the Planning and Zoning Commission as it relates to the comp plan, because they're done with the ordinances. Their hands are off of it, probably, as I would understand it. But I think that anybody that's going to be acting on the ordinance, and those that will be acting planning and zoning, and subsequently this board on the comp plan amendment by Bayshore Farms and the rezoning, I think it would be really good for the county, countywide, and particularly the citizens of Muse, if all 11 of you would go drive from County Road 78 in LaBelle or Henry County and drive north on Crescent and keep going until you get to Loblaw. There's like 5 or 6 roads there, starting with Crescent, ending in Fernwood. It's all pretty terrible out there. It has been for years and years. And it's terrible, and I'm talking about the roads and for the most part the community. The roads go to heck, the community goes to heck. And it's all bad, bad, bad because someone well before y'all approved the R&R mine. And so anything that has to do with this mine ordinance and anything that has to do with those applications coming forward, anybody ought to be looking at them or touching them without driving out there and seeing what a mess that area is in, thanks to a mine several years ago that access onto a county road. So please seriously consider this request. Thank you.
Okay, Diane Cianfrani.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Diane Cianfrani. I live at 1582 Gate Road in Muse. I think by now you're probably tired of hearing from us, but we're going to continue to oppose this mine project and our property rights. I don't think any of you sitting there would ever want to live next to a mining operation. So I have a few questions I'm asking of you at this time. I know there's a need for the business, but does it have to be in a residential community. I ask you to take the time, because as DJ just said, the ordinance will be coming your way probably maybe the next morning meeting. Take the time before and go over the ordinance. There are things that I feel are extremely pertinent that need to be in here, and I've been told that they've been omitted. And as you asked originally, that you did not want the trucks to access onto county roads. It's not there. There's an issue about Highway 27. It's not a county road per se. It is a state road, and they maintain it, and it has to do with the schools. But I believe they have made an exception, and that they'll allow trucks to be going through school zone. All the other school zones are left out of the ordinance. And we have one right there on Loch Lolly, 720, whatever you want to call it, it's named Walker Greer, and that's been left out of it. So when you read this, please take the time to think about it and what it's going to do to our county. I think it's going to, if they don't do restrictions in this, it's going to deter growth in our area. It's going to destroy a lot of our area. There's nothing in there about roads and pavement. I mean, there's some, but not what you really need. And when it comes your way, you can make the changes. You can approve it for us. And we're going to still fight for this all the way to the end. So please take the time, look at it, do your research, and make up your minds. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, Constance Lyle.
Commissioners, my name is Constance Lyle. I live at 1443 Summerall Road. That's in use. So I would like to applaud our supervisor of elections, Alicia's Farm, for her work on presenting the Meet the Candidate rallies. Not only has she organized rallies among the different communities while getting her primary and general elections in order, she has posted the meetings for all to view on her YouTube channel. This brings about a whole new cohesion of communities in Glades County. Now, I understand YouTube is being used tonight. That's exciting because I said perhaps YouTube should be a viable option for the BOCC meetings as well. And let me continue with a positive shout out to Ortona and the gentleman who stated during the question and answer section of their rally, Ortona stands with Muse. This is in regards to the mine opposition in Muse. The people in Ortona are not happy with the trucks speeding along SR 78 and understand our concerns regarding trucks along the county road. Now, I have a letter for the record. It is my understanding that each of you received a copy of it, and the Hellards would like it on record as well. So I don't know if it's necessary for me to read it. I would like it in, they would like it in the record as well.
It's not a book, is it?
It's, no, it's not a
You
book.
can read it.
This is from the Hellard family. It's Nicole and Les, and their two children. She wrote this July 16th to the board of the Glades County Board of Commissioners. Dear Commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Hellard, and my husband and I are homeowners in Muse. We have lived in Muse for 6 years. My husband was born and raised in Henry County. I'm from Lee County. When we started having children, we knew we wanted a slower pace of life with some land where we would raise our children with a solid upbringing and a safe community. We found exactly that in Muse. I write to you today to voice my concern regarding the mines in Muse. As a homeowner in the Muse area and a mother of 2 children attending Westglade School, my top priority is keeping my children and investments safe. Dump trucks roaring past my children's school is not the environment. It is not that environment. It is a guaranteed accident, most likely involving a child, mother, father, or any other family member. There is a value in that, and not a monetary one. I clearly remember when I was in 2nd grade, a classmate of mine was hit and killed in the school zone one morning before school. My bus passed the accident, and I knew when I took my seat in my class, and Daniel was not in his seat, it had been him. This was a horrifying thing for an 8-year-old to witness and experience. I have never forgotten that day or the feelings I experienced. I beg you to stop that from happening to another child. I know many neighbors are vying for the same thing. No mines, no trucks. As Florida property owners, we have rights. As such, I do not agree, nor do I want a commercial use for mine or dirt pit near my home or any of my neighbors' homes. I can assure you that homeowners objecting to this far outweigh the ones who are for it. I also encourage you to look closely at those who are for this mine. What is their investment? Are they business owners? Are they everyday blue-collar working folks like my husband and me, as well as the majority of our neighbors? Are they retired, living on fixed incomes, and unable to relocate when this community becomes unsafe? Think long and hard about the individuals who are welcoming this guaranteed tragedy. Their investment does not compare to the majority. Let me reiterate, this is not a monetary investment I speak of. I encourage you all to vote against the Muse Mine dirt pit and secure our landowner property rights, as well as our future generations. Think about this. This goes beyond politics and money. This is the livelihood of the real people who live in this community. Respectfully, Nicole Heller. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Have no presentations and awards. No public hearings. I got a public comment is, I can't hardly read the name, Dahl. What do you want to talk, I mean, is this?
Oh, I don't know, I just came in, I didn't think we were talking about the mine tonight.
Well, we're just opening up for public comment tonight.
Okay.
So if you got something that's not on the agenda that you want to talk about, you're welcome to come up.
It's not on the agenda?
If it's on the agenda, I'll let you speak when it's on the agenda, but.
Oh, it's not, it's not.
We can talk about it on agenda.
Yeah, let me just get up for a minute. Sorry, just slid in here on the fly.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Yvonne Dahl, 1060 County Road 731, also known as the corner of Thigpen and Whidden. The Dahls have been on that corner since 1967. We have lived harmoniously with all of the ag trucks, 6Ls, all of the farms, the sod, coming and going through our corner at Muse. We've been approached several times about what was at one time the Muse Village. That's 67 acres that surrounds us and backs up to like Whisper Creek. And then we went through several meetings with the attorney for the Whisper Creek expansion project. And that didn't move forward because of construction costs. We are very, very concerned about our corner. And we love our quiet enjoyment that we've grown to love for so long. And we are very, very concerned about the school traffic. And I did a little bit, and I'm not sure if this is exactly right, but they're gonna be taking, I think it is 5 million tons of dirt out of that 56 or 57 acres that they've proposed. And we tried to figure out how much traffic, because they're giving them 5 years with the possibility of a 5-year extension, which would, and if my math is right, that is 3 dump trucks per minute going through the school zone and past our corner. And I know that Jimmy knew a lot of the truck drivers that were pulling the ag produce out of the fields, and they're super respectful, coming and going at early hours in the morning. But we've been out here, and Jimmy drove a sand truck for a long time. Their main goal is to get where they're going as fast as they possibly can, and they don't give a damn about anybody else, excuse my French. So before you guys decide that you're gonna approve this, and I don't even know where it is in the project, I've tried to read up on it as much as I can. We hope you really, really, really think about it. Some of our kids recently saw a dump truck accident while they were on the school bus. And if you haven't talked to that school bus driver and the kids that were on that bus that day, they were Westglades kids. They will never forget that. And I believe several people died in that accident. I know the truck driver did, but I don't know about the other people in the car. So we have a huge concern about that. And the fact that Jimmy and his dad, you know, they pretty much built that road to use. I don't know if you knew Jimmy's dad, Joe Dahl. Jimmy's been trucking for a long time, and he said that road is not built for that. It absolutely is not. And it is an accident waiting to happen. And we just hope that you guys will hear from us and take that to heart.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're on the consent agenda, which is number 1, county warrants, number 2, federal equitable sharing fund, DOJ request, number 3, fiscal year 24-25 law enforcement salary assistance for physically constrained counties, number 4, request approval of budget amendment 23-24-17 appropriating funding within the federal equitable shares and local law enforcement budget as approved by the Board of County Commissioners during fiscal year 2023-2024 quarters 1, 2, and 3.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I'll need to abstain from voting on the Taylor Electric and Air conditioning item as related to the owner.
Okay.
Chair, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Whidden, second by Commissioner Sapp, with Commissioner Taylor abstaining on all Taylor Electric bills. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. All right, public input on business agenda items. Anyone wishing to provide public comment on an agenda item, please fill out a comment card on the table at the entrance to the commission chambers. Please note all comments on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes and/or the board's discretion. Our business agenda is number 5, increase in encumberment for 2024 ER Alcina.
Good evening, Cindy with her for the record. Back on 5/14/2024, at the BOCC meeting, we encumbered $40,000 for a rehabilitation strategy for Mr. Alcina and $15,000 for the emergency strategy. Upon installing the septic system, the health department required, it wasn't just the drain field, they went to
with a pump, which involved additional electric and also the 2 tanks that have to be installed. We didn't originally know, but to bring it up to code and because his property is so low, these changes had to be applied. In doing so, the most I thought it would be with just the tank, the 2 tanks and the drain field would have been about 17,000 is what we figured. But once they started digging, the dirt that was in the ground wasn't letting the water percolate. It wouldn't have let it percolate, so all that had to be taken out and refilled with the proper soils for drainage. In doing that, it increased it from what I thought would be the most amount, 17, to 20,268. And that is the reason I'm asking for the additional funds. Originally, I knew we only had 15 in the emergency, but I was figuring with rehab, that extra 200 would have went over to the rehab strategy, and I wouldn't have had to ask for any more money. But in this situation, I don't have any way around it, so we had a change order for the additional, and I'm requesting that the encumbrance would be increased $5,268.26.
That would be the total?
No, the total is $20,268.
That was the increase that you were asking?
Yes, sir. So it would be the 15 plus the 5 would be the 2268 total.
How much?
2268.
And this will finish him up, he's,
Yes, with that strategy, yes, sir. There's been a big increase with the septics, and I'll bring that forward shortly.
Mr. Chair, I'd move to approve the increase of encumberment and emergency strategy in the amount of $5,268.26 for Mr. Alzina to cover the cost of new septic system in unforeseen circumstances.
I had a motion by Commissioner Wood and a second by Commissioner Taylor. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Number 6, request approval of budget amendment 23-24-18 and corresponding resolution 24-16, adjusting the budget of the general fund, building fund, and solid waste fund.
Good evening, Coach Morgan, Finance Director. The budget amendment before you is essentially just a mid-year review of where the county is with their budget and making various line item adjustments. And a transfer from contingency to cover where we are with operations. So as noted, the general fund, we're moving funding from various line items. There's no net effect, it's just making sure that where we've budgeted the funds is within the correct places. Some of those items, as you'll see in the detail, were related to projects that were started in the previous year and for whatever reason didn't get completed until the current year. The building fund, we did not budget for insurance at the time that we did the budget, but we are now allocating some insurance costs to the building fund, so that's what that amendment is for. And then solid waste, we were receiving tipping fees from the city of Lewiston, which it upped our revenues, but it also upped the corresponding expenditures within that fund. So you are seeing a budget amendment to increase the revenues and expenditures within that fund, which requires the resolution. So I am requesting for the budget amendment and corresponding resolution to be approved. If you got specific questions, I can talk through what the adjustments are.
What is the insurance on the building fund as far as?
So the county had historically pays insurance. We've never allocated it out to the separate departments. In the case of the building department, they do have their own revenues that stay within their department to cover their operations. So we did an allocation based on the property value and are now charging, it's not an increase, essentially we're decreasing the cost to the general fund and we're pushing a small portion of the insurance costs for property and liability to the building fund, for that property and for the staffing.
Good, I know, I have talked to the county manager about our dump, and I think we definitely need to do some studies out there. We haven't raised dumping fees in I don't know when, so we need to look and see how we're doing it.
We've worked on that. I think Gene has previously mentioned that we are trying to pull together a fee schedule that will be considered with the board, with the budget process as you go into the final public hearings. But we have looked, your tipping fees are based on a CPI index, and this past year we did get to a point where the fuel and gas rates have increased, so it's increased the tipping fee. Our transport fees substantially for transporting the waste out. So I agree. I think it's something that we're at a break-even point where we need to reevaluate what we're charging for tipping fees to cover the full cost.
This particular agenda item, I did call and speak with Ms. June about it, so, I understand it. Thank you, Josh, for working on that. So that I move to approve budget amendment 23-24-18 and corresponding resolution 2024-16.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sapp, second by Commissioner Wooten. You have something?
She made it motion.
Oh, I don't see Taylor. Motion by Commissioner Taylor, second by Commissioner Wooden. I'll read just the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners in and for Glades County, Florida, authorizing an amendment to the 2023-2024 Glades County Solid Waste Fund budget. It's a roll call vote. Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Sapp?
Yes.
Myself is yes. Mr. Wooden?
Yes.
Is there one for each one of these, or is it?
No, it's only, the resolution only goes with the solid waste budget because that one's increasing in total. The other two budgets are just line item moves, so it doesn't require a resolution.
Alright, so that passes 4-0. Number 7 is adoption of proposed millage rate for the 2024-2025 fiscal year for the BOCC.
Tasha Morgan, Finance Director. We are fully in the middle of the budget process for the upcoming fiscal year 2024-2025 fiscal year. As part of that, the board is required to adopt a proposed millage rate for the budget year. What that does is establish the maximum rate that you would be able to adopt for the millage when you get into your final public hearing. So this would be the maximum that the board could adopt. You would have the flexibility to lower the rate if that was desired during the budget process. Where we are today and in the two workshops that we've held, we are recommending that the rate be adopted, proposed millage rate be adopted at 8.8967 for the general fund, and 0.1 for the transportation trust fund, which brings it to the 8.9967. And then for the MSTU, we're proposing a rate of 3.1 for the millage. Those are the current rates that the board has adopted for the current fiscal year, so there would be no change in the millage rates. Budgeting at 95%, which is what we generally do, that's best practice for governmental accounting. The adoption of that rate would generate revenues of just over 9.1 million. And then that would be in the general fund and transportation. And for the MSTU, listed on here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the next item. An increase or decrease to the millage of 0.1 would affect the revenues by $102,000.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to adopt proposed millage rate of 8.9967 for the BOCC for fiscal year 2024-2025.
I'll second.
All right, a motion by Commissioner Wooten, second by Commissioner Scott. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4.
And the second agenda item is for the MST, so it's essentially the same thing. We would be establishing the proposed millage rate for the 2024-2025 budget year. This would be the maximum rate that the board could adopt at the final hearings. The current rate that the board has adopted is 3.1 mils, and that is what we're recommending for the upcoming fiscal year. The rate of 3.1 would generate revenues into the MSTU of $3,167,964 when it's budgeted at 95%.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate of 3.1000 for law enforcement MSTU for fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second.
All right, a motion by Commissioner Wooten, second by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4. Number 9, scheduling of a tentative and final budget hearing dates.
Tasha Morgan, Finance Director. The next phase of the budget process is to hold the 2 public hearings that are required. You have had 2 workshops. So the next step would be to schedule those 2 public hearings. Based on the dates that are adopted today, they will be provided to the property appraiser's office and included within the term notices that are mailed to residents. So what we are proposing, the school board does have first option to dates, and they provided information to indicate that they're scheduled to hold their meeting budget public hearing on August 2nd. So we cannot have a meeting on that date. So what we are proposing, the meeting does have to be after 5 o'clock. So we're proposing Monday, September 9th at 5:15 p.m. for the first tentative public hearing, and that would be held in this boardroom. And then we are required to meet some advertising deadlines for the second meeting and hold that second meeting within 2 to 5 days of that advertisement. So the advertisements here locally are on a Wednesday. So we're proposing advertising on Wednesday, September 18th, which then would give us a public hearing, a final public hearing date of Monday, September 23rd. I'm proposing a time of 5:45 for that meeting here in this room. And that would allow, it would be right before the 6 o'clock regularly scheduled board meeting and in between the 5 o'clock city meeting.
I don't have a problem with those dates. Good?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to adopt the following dates for the tentative and final budget hearing.
Second.
And a motion by Commissioner Taylor, second by Commissioner Seth. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4. Number 10, request to approve the renaming of the Glades 911 Public Safety Complex to the Bob Jones Public Safety Complex.
Yes, sir. This was brought up at the previous board meeting to consider renaming Station 3. Currently, the name that it is given is the Glades 911 Public Safety Complex, and what we are recommending is the Bob Jones Public Safety Complex, and have this before you for your consideration.
Well, Bob fought hard to get that station up there, and I don't see why it should be named after him. And if he'd had his way, we would have probably had 3 more stations built. But I'm completely okay with naming it after Mr. Jones.
Tell me 3 more. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the renaming the Glades 911 Public Safety Complex to the Bob Jones Public Safety Complex and authorize the staff to facilitate the change.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Wooden, second by Commissioner Seth. Any discussion?
Yeah, I mean, thanks to Bob. He did work tirelessly to get that building out there. So.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. You will have Jones come out there and. Alright, number 11, request to approve resolution number 2024-17 to amend the agreement with FDOT for the additional funding in the amount of $341,804 for the Crescent Avenue project.
Yes, sir. We were finally, after several meetings and discussions with the Secretary of FDOT, able to convince them that they needed to provide us additional funding for this road, and they have. They found the funding. They were very quick to provide us with this supplemental agreement, and just looking for the board to approve the agreement and the associated resolution.
So just for the audiences, this money is all being funded through FDOT to do, and the bids have been coming in. Normally when we put in for this money through Scopper Scrap, you get on about a 6-year plan now, so if you want another road paved, it'll be 6 years before you get it. So these things are coming in now. What was budgeted 6 years ago is costing almost 3 times what was in the budget. So we had to go back to the state. We had to wait till, this should have been paid last year. So 74 should have been paid last year, but same thing. It's just that they had to wait till their budget year came in, which comes in July 1st, to get money from their next year's budget to pay for the money we should have done. So that's why they had to amend it.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution 2024-17 to amend the agreement with FDOT for additional funding in the amount of $341,804 for the Crescent Avenue project. FPN 446324-1-54-01, and authorize the chairman to sign the supplemental agreement.
Second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Sapp, second by Commissioner Whidden.
I need a roll call vote for the resolution.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Right, well, good money.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Myself is yes. Commissioner Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sapp?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Passes 4-0. All right, number 12 is request to approve resolution number 2024-18 to amend the agreement with the FDOT for additional funding in the amount of $86,168 for the Cornelia Drive project, FPNN 44327-1-54-01. And this is basically the same thing.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve resolution 2024-18 to amend the agreement with FDOT for additional funding in the amount of $86,168 for the Cornelia Drive project, FPN 446327-1-54-01, and authorize the chairman to sign the supplemental agreement.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sapp, second by Commissioner Whidden. Any discussion?
Ditto.
We'll do a roll call vote again. Myself is yes. Mr. Whidden?
Yes.
Mr. Sapp?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Passes 4-0. All right, number 13, request to approve the design contract for Lake Drive West with AIM Engineering.
Yes, sir. This was actually bid quite some time ago. The board did select AIM Engineering, however, we didn't get to the point of an actual contract. So we're getting ready to do that job soon, and we need an official contract with AIM Engineering.
I'll be glad when that road gets paid. Another one is done. Hold on, whatever.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the contract with AIM Engineering for the design of Lake Drive FPN 446328-1-54-01, and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
There's got a motion by Commissioner Whidden, second by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Number 14, request to approve the professional services agreement and associated proposal for engineering services between Glades County and Craig A. Smith and Associates for the development of a vulnerability assessment.
Yes, sir. The goal behind this this agenda item is actually to piggyback off of the city's contract. They have a current contract which they followed all procurement procedures, and Mr. Pringle has reviewed this and has approved piggybacking off the city's contract. So that's what we anticipate doing.
And this is 100% grant funded.
100% grant funded. And we are required to have this study done. The future looks as though the state will actually fund some of the improvements if some are necessary. So, but they won't unless the study is done, and they pay for the study. So.
This is how often we gotta do the study?
Usually it's 5 to 7 years, but they haven't put a timeline on that because they're not sure about their funding. It may take longer to actually implement the funding for some of the construction, so it could be longer.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the professional service agreement and associated proposal for engineering services between Glades County and Craig A. Smith and Associates for the development of a vulnerability assessment and authorize the chairman to sign.
Second. All right, a motion by Commissioner Wood and second by Commissioner South. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. All right, that takes us through our agenda, our constitutional officers. Tammy, do you have anything?
I do. I just, as you all know, that we started video recording tonight's meeting. It will be uploaded to YouTube. The YouTube channel is Glades County Clerk of Court. Hopefully, it'll be on there maybe tomorrow. I heard it takes 7 to 8 hours to upload. So, if there's any concerns or questions, please call the clerk's office, and hopefully it works smoothly.
Take the sheriff's department.
All good.
Connie, do you have anything? No, you're not a constitutional officer, but you're a money lady.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Connie Van Ash with CAS Governmental Services. I just wanted to briefly go over the grant agreements or the grant applications we put in through the FDEP Water Quality Portal. They have extended that agreement deadline till the end of this month. We made sure we were in by the June 30th deadline. So Bowden Estates was put in, Countryside Meadows, and the Washington Park Phase 2, and the wastewater treatment plant expansion project was put in through the full ask since the project that was in the budget got vetoed. So those projects are in there. The additional grants that we're working on for the county, we've been working with Ms. Fisher and the staff, the Sheriff's Administration feasibility study grant. They have a monthly quarterly report. We continue to meet that deadline. The Phase 6 of the Northeast Septic to Sewer project that was awarded through last year's grant water quality portal. We're waiting on the agreement to come through with, from DEP, and I'm going to check on that tomorrow. So it's been a while. And then the first phase of the Northeast Septic to Sewer, phases 5A and 5C, I think they called it. That grant's been closed out. We made the final quarterly report for this period in June, and that's all done. We're closed out totally for that grant. And then we continue to work on the US 27 corridor grant project with the grant. The latest was the request for funds number 5 was submitted, and the county has received those funds, and the quarterly report was filed timely as well. And we continue to monitor that project. It is, the agreement expires in 2026, so we have plenty of time. And then, of course, the vulnerability assessment with tonight's approval of the engineering contract. We'll work with the engineers, and that grant has 7 tasks. And the first task is a public hearing or a kickoff meeting, and we'll work with the engineers and coordinate with Ms. Fisher on the timing of that and the materials that are needed. And the other item I wanted just to bring up briefly is the planting the seed for next year's process for the legislative session. I know committee weeks will be held in January and February, they've not been scheduled yet. Once the election is, finished in November, on November 19th, the newly elected officials will gather in Tallahassee for a formal organization. So I'm thinking by November, December, we will have, our legislative packet requests prepared or drafted and ready to go. I believe when we did the session late, the last time we had the delegation hearing was like mid-January. I did check with the representative's office and they haven't gotten anything scheduled because the committee weeks haven't been scheduled. So that's kind of what, for the timing for next legislative session. I just kind of wanted to plant that seed as a food for thought.
When did you say we should have our wish list then?
I would say like the end of November, December. I don't know, I don't see where they're gonna call committee week in December, but it has been done before. It's not on a preliminary schedule at this point in time. But I thought if we definitely get it done by December, we should be in good shape. Be ready to go. Do you have any questions for me? All right.
Let's keep looking for money.
Well, yes, I do that, yes.
Thank you for what you brought.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hey, we don't have a county attorney here, or county manager.
At the last board meeting, the board requested that I schedule a workshop to discuss, the water storage areas or above ground containments. So I'm looking at the first meeting, the day meeting in September, which is September 10th. I know Mr. Pringle will be here and he actually wrote the resolution, so in order for him to make any changes to that, I know that he will be here at that meeting.
So,
If that's agreeable.
out following our view.
Immediately following, yes, sir.
That's good with me, the two.
Good.
All right, we'll
And
do
it's
that.
after the commission meeting.
Yes, sir. That's all I have.
Okay, department heads, I think you've done enough for one day. Anything from the health department that you want to share? Don't see anybody else, so.
Excuse me, one second, what time did you say? Was the resident?
Immediately following the regular board meeting.
Okay.
So we'll move on to commissioners' items. Mr. Whidden.
Ms. Fisher, the FWC meeting, that is this Friday?
It is
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
This tomorrow, okay.
Yes, tomorrow evening.
And what time?
6:30.
Yeah,
6:30.
I believe at the same time as our rally meeting up there.
Okay, well, just, one of those is FWC is having a meeting with members of the public about their, I guess, proposed management scheme of Fish Eating Creek. You know, it's kind of, should be near and dear to all of us. It's a great place to go and it brings a lot of people within our community. I think the management of that area is pretty crucial to all of us. It brings bodies out of the county into our county, and it's I don't know if you guys have been up there lately, but it's a beautiful place to spend the day. It's pretty cost effective to go, and the management of it should be important to all of us. So I encourage everybody to attend that. That's all I have.
Mr. Sett.
Well, I'm thankful that you get the good news about the 2 roads out there. Been fighting for that for a long time, and I'm glad to hear that. And, I had a talk with our fire chief this morning, and we had a fire this week. The house was totally burned down, and I told him, we talked prior, and he was gonna get us a brush truck out there. So we're having a meeting in the morning, and hopefully we can get that finalized. So, other than that, things are good.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, I'll second what Commissioner Whidden spoke of. Fish Eating Creek is one of my favorite places, so unfortunately it won't be possible for me to attend the meeting, but, and I know several of you can't because of the rally, but it would be good if, a lot of the community can show up. And just show their support for one of my favorite places, Fishing Creek. Besides that, thank you, Tammy, I know for getting the video going. I know I fussed about it a couple times up here, but you got it done, so appreciate it. And just would like to mention as well, not forgetting that when Mr. Pringle comes back, and Miss Sue isn't here, but I know that Miss June, along with Ben Smith, I believe, Susan Bouchon, and our attorney are supposed to get together and have a phone call meeting at least to discuss the plan development for the business park. So we need to get the ball rolling on that, and hopefully they'll plan it soon as he gets back, along with all the other things he's working on. So that's about it.
Well, I know all of y'all are aware that we had a meeting out in Lakeport with the Lakeport Water Association Board, and they weren't happy with Pringle not getting their franchise agreement changed to add sewer to it, but he will definitely be working on it. That's gonna be his priority when he gets back to get that, because I'm working on the same thing with, Buckhead Ridge. We've got to change that up there too, but, hopefully he will have both of those done in short time. But, other than that, I don't have a whole lot. We did have the rally tomorrow night in Buckhead Ridge at 6:30. Hopefully everybody comes out and enjoys the talk. But they I was told that this meeting with the FWC is just like a standard. They have every year they have to update every so many years they have to update their plan. So I've heard all kinds of rumors. They're going to dredge the creek. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. So hopefully somebody will be in here to hear what they actually have to say. But I think it's just a continuation that they have to have a plan, and that's what they're doing. So, but we don't need dredging. That's for sure. Not there. We need dredging in a lot of other places, but not there. But that's all I've got. Is there anything else? Any issues? All right. Our business is done. We are adjourned at 6:52.